Yes, okay. So for today's agenda, we would just be looking at introduction to Bulwark, uh, and which would be done by me, and then for the next component, which is the introduction overview of VOTIRO, which would be done by Lawrence, and the use case and demo would be taken over by George, and any Q&A, any questions and answers, we would be able to answer them. So for all your questions, just drop it down in the chat box, and we would address it at the end of the session. Right. Okay. Right. So, who is Bulwark? So, we are a cybersecurity specialized value-added distributor in the Middle East, and we have been in the region for around 25 years. Right. So, this is actually a silver jubilee year right now. So, the company has been established in 1999 in Dubai, and we also have our office in KSA, Riyadh. Uh, right. So, and we have partnered with around 30 technology vendors uh, with us, right? And we have around 750 business partners here in the Middle East and India altogether, right? So, why go with Bulwark? So, Bulwark has an excellent track record in developing world-class products. We only work with the best of breed technology vendors, and uh, we're proud to say that VOTIRO is also one of our leading CDR solutions in the market right now. We deliver round-the-clock value-added services through our partner networks across the Middle East, KSA, and Indian subcontinent region. We work as an extended arm of security vendors whom we represent in the region, promoting and selling the IT security products and solutions through our reseller channel partner. And we also have a dedicated sales, marketing, and certified technical team here with us, Bulwark. So if you have any challenges you require, you can, the Bulwark team would be able to lend you a hand for support. Right now, moving on, I would like to now, um, I would like Lawrence to now move ahead with the presentation. Right. So I hand over to Lawrence. Right.
Thanks, Sunali. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, my name is Lawrence. I'm the Channel Director with VOTIRO. I'm based in Singapore, looking after the Asia Pac region, including Middle East. Yeah. So thanks everybody for having time today to join us to learn a bit more about VOTIRO. Okay, Zero Trust Data Security. So the topic is safeguard data by eliminating file-borne threats and privacy risks. Yeah. Okay. As a cybersecurity partners, you've been selling our products. VOTIRO, is it something new? This technology, let's us take a look in depth today. Okay, the data security prompt. We'll be selling a lot of data security stuff. Okay, and we talk to customer. We had this quite common comment. Yeah, too many threats, too many rules, too many tools, too little time. These are the common things that we hear from our customer. Yeah, so the risk surface nowadays is unlike the old time 10, 20 years ago where we just talk about data within the network. Data inside your network is secure. But now data flow everywhere. Okay, they are everywhere, making visibility and management tough for IT team. Okay, to carry out with protections against malware, against privacy risks. Yeah. Now, what enterprise is looking at, okay, is the ability to prevent attack and data compromise, okay, in real time. It's always a race against time, okay, to get things done, okay, to move as fast as possible before an outbreak happen in our network, right? So this is it. So what security leader now must prioritize? Yeah, file-borne threats are still the most successful so-called exploit out there targeting user. Anywhere can set file-borne malware that hidden in the files that you receive. Yeah, you used to be just looking at emails, okay, but nowadays collaboration tools like Teams, like Slacks, okay, Cloud Drive, like OneDrive like that, okay. People are using that to share files, yeah, okay. So, but 66%, okay, of files like PDF or HTMLs they are still used, okay, to deliver malware. So this is a concern that enterprise have. With the tools that we have now, okay, with the tools that we have now, okay, like the antivirus, the EDR, and the sandbox, okay, aren't they effective against protection against fireborne threats? Yeah, we have been selling a lot of these tools to our customer, be the antivirus, the EDR, the sandbox, okay, but these tools are still very reactive. They are only good for protection against things that we know, against malware that we know, okay, against attack, exploit that we know. What about day zero? Yeah, new stuff. Okay, it's a race against time to get the latest feature up to date. Okay, it's a race against time to get the latest behavior, okay, into the EDRs. Of course, in sandbox, okay, you take time to analyze the attack factors and stuff like that. So what we are introduced to today, VOTIRO, okay, we take a step back, okay, we do things slightly different, okay. VOTIRO mission is to allow company to operate freely without the risk of hidden threat. Okay, we envision a world where data security or content security isn't a struggle. Okay, whatever we do, okay, we are another business, okay, to continue ongoing, okay, without the threats. Yeah. So we have clear vision, okay, to enable our enterprise, okay, to continue the business without missing a step. So what we are doing, okay, is to disarm content anywhere it's used. Any content, any file that been shared by email attachment, okay, whether web downloads or through things like Teams, Slack, and stuff like that, FTP or web upload through APIs, okay, web portals, like any file that come in, okay, we must be able to detect, okay, to analyze it, and what we give the user is the right file to use. Yeah. So how we do it? Okay, how we do it? We applying zero trust principle. How we do it? So what we do is what we call positive selection of file. Only the good pass through. We don't care about the bad. Only the good pass through. So any file that come in through the gateway, be from email, from file upload, or web browser download, the file, okay, with its known format, we strip it out to its components. We strip this component because every file format there's a fixed set of components. We strip it down, okay, based on the format, the templates, okay, we analyze it and we rebuild it. Okay, so we are deliver 100% safe file. It's a race against time, okay, to deliver a safe file to a user. Okay, so what does it do? Okay, a file come in. There's a file come in, okay, we just rebuild the file, or what we call the sanitized file. We transfer the good stuff over and we send the file to the user. So the malware that is there, that's enabled and embedded in the file, we leave it behind. So what the user receives in real time is a file that they can use, a file with all the context, with all the active components. Okay, they will not receive a malware, a bad stuff. In the traditional antivirus email gateway stuff, okay, you have a malware file, you quarantine it, okay, or you block it. But the user don't care. User say, I need a file. If today the CFO have a press release at 5 o'clock, okay, to release a result to the press, okay, the auditor send a file to him at 4:45. He can't wait for the IT security staff, okay, to analyze the file, okay, or to remove the threat. What the CFO need now is a file that can use to present to the press. So that's what we do. A file that we receive, we sanitize it, give the good file, the good data, okay, to the user, leaving the malware behind. because the user doesn't care malware you have. The user doesn't care, okay, what attack you have. The user only want the file. You don't have to wait for you to do your sandbox. You don't have to wait to quarantine and ask for release of file. You want the file now. That's how I do. Of course, if the IT security staff want to analyze the file, okay, they can still download the file, the original malware, and do the test. But what is doing now, the user have access to the file and you keep yourself safe. So day zero attack, new malware that come out, we do not need to wait for the new signature. We do not need to know the behavior. We just strip it down and give the good file to the user. So same thing for graphic files, we embedded codes. Okay, the before and after, we scan it, we will remove all the embedded code, the bad stuff. So this is what we call positive selection. We only select the good stuff. Okay, select and build a file, we'll call sentence file and pass it to the user. So you may say it's familiar. Okay, some of you may be familiar with gateways, email gateway, that's what you call PDF file, fatten the file, okay, and give it to the user. This is what we call CDR level 1. There's tools out there that will say receive file, okay, they don't care, they just remove all the information that fatten the file. Yes, the user will have the data, the raw text, but this is not what they want. I want the file format. Okay, CDR level 2 will maintain the original file format, okay, but you remove all the active component. Hey, but that's not good enough for me. I need the Excel macros and stuff like that. What we do is CDR level 3. Okay, we will maintain the original file type, the full functionality, okay, and the full access to the elements of content. So the user is a file they can use is what is original intent to. Okay, without the need to wait, without the need for the IT security guy to do a check and stuff like that, we pass it to them straight away. What we remove are the bad stuff, the malware, okay, that the user doesn't care. Okay. So Gartner Hype Cycle has been mentioned, okay, that CDR is an important layer in any organization defense and content protections. Yeah, they recognize the CDR level. CDR will be a tool that enterprise will need to complement what they have now. We're not asking to replace your email gateway. We are not asking to replace your sandbox. Okay, this is a tool that better enhance, okay, the solution that you have in place now. So the common use case, okay, where we sit, okay, it could be to protect against file that you transmit by email, okay, especially password protected files. A lot of solutions out there now, okay, when a password protected file, like password zip file, they cannot do anything to it because it's password protected. But we can do something to it to make sure that only the good stuff pass through. Yeah. Of course, now with new tools like Teambox, OneDrive, that you share files not through email but through new collaboration tools, we need to ensure that the files shared are safe. Of course, you have your web downloads. We always tell user not to download from a unknown website. But there's always case where user will just download because they're not sure, okay, or the last time they never check properly the URL site, they do downloads. And once you download, you have malware in out. Of course, over the last few years, we see a lot of enterprise going to remote browser isolation tools like Manos, Keyscaler, or even Sniper your browser, okay, to prevent access to so-called unsafe site. Yeah, but open the downloads when you need to download fast. Okay, the RBI tool do not have, but we work very closely with those tools to ensure that the files download are safe. Web application and uploads. Okay, a lot of organizations will have a web portal where the external user, okay, let's say the banks have the user uploading file when they apply for credit cards or for loans and stuff like that. Of course, your typical file transfer like FTP, FTPS and stuff like that. Later after my session, my engineer, okay, George, will go in depth into the different use case and do a demo. Then you have a better understanding of what our different use cases are. Okay, these are right. So about VOTIRO, okay, VOTIRO is not new. We've been around for a while. Okay, we have 250 customer worldwide. Yeah, including some of the top banks in the region. Okay, we have processed more than 10 billion file with 0 breaches. Yeah, because any file that come into us, we strip away the bad stuff, the unknown stuff. We only give the user the good stuff. Okay, we have 16 patents, so we have multiple patents. Okay, that we given to us. Okay, we are also SOC 2 compliant. Okay, with office in Israel, Singapore, and Australia, and US. Yeah, right. Bulwark is our distributor in the region in the Middle East. They will give support the customer. Yeah, but the team here in Singapore, in Asia Pac headquarters, will support you in any engagement that you have. Okay, and here's a some logo of our customer that be using our product, including DBS, the top bank in Singapore. Okay, maybe you're familiar with that. Okay, GovTech Singapore, the government in Singapore using it, and different topic. So some of the key use case, key customer, okay, Singapore itself, the central government agency or the government agency using it, yeah, because they want to check file that they receive is safe between different agency. A law firm, okay, law firm have a lot of documents to share between different law firm or between their client and them. Yeah, we will have a use case with that. So why are customer adopting us? Okay, as a security trusted advisor to your customer, they will come to you and ask you, okay, hey, there's a new technology here. How does it help us? Okay, how does it help? What our user is saying here, they're looking at as a primary line of real-time defense. Real time. They want tools that doesn't change their business, that doesn't stop their business. They want tools, okay, that help them in real-time defense. That's what we're doing. Okay. Secure business enablement. Okay, we deliver safe and compliant content. Okay, we are not doing block or quarantine or phishing. We don't delay, okay, their access to the file. Okay, it's not that you block a unknown file, okay, quarantine a unknown file, then the user will need to go and ask the IT security guy, okay, to check on it, okay, and give them the right file. The user can't wait. The user want the file now and want the file to be safe. And of course, any relation that we have, okay, the user, the enterprise itself will prefer that there's no additional IT resource required, okay, and work with existing platform, not to change too much. So business outcome, VOTIRO deliver a featureless business outcome. Compared to the other file security, to sandbox, antivirus, okay, this is our difference. After this call, okay, you can always share with us your customer requirement, and we come to you and we share with you how to best engage those. Yeah. So VOTIRO work with existing SDR, Edge, or cloud security product. We are not asking you to replace the solution that you have there. Yeah, got customers say, I invested in this for a long time. I don't change the way it work. But we are going in, okay, to complement what they have now to provide a better solution for them, okay, without hampering their work and giving them immediate access to the file. So this is my short presentation. Okay, I'll hand over to George, okay, to do the demo and share the use case. Yeah, we will take questions after the demo. Yeah. So George, over to you.
Lawrence. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking your time to attend this webinar. So over here, let me share my slides. Okay, so for my portion, I will cover two portions of today's webinar. First, I'll go through the use cases on where you can use or deploy VOTIRO on your architecture. And the second part of this session is I will have a kind of demonstration to let you see how VOTIRO works. Okay, so for the first part, and this is also what most of our customers have integration with us, it is with their email solutions, right? So for VOTIRO, we are able to integrate with your existing email solutions, be it on Microsoft 365, or even if you are using Google Workspace. Okay, so what we can do is the email provider can perform mail routing to route your emails to VOTIRO to perform the CDR, which we call it content disarm and reconstruction, to ensure not just the email attachment, but the email body as well. Okay, to make sure that the reconstructed mail is a clean copy before it gets sent over to the user. Okay. So this is also another part that we can address, and that bypasses all your current security gateway appliances. That is password protected files, right? So with VOTIRO, we have a workflow that we are able to replace incoming email with a block PDF that allows the user to self-service to key in the password before the files goes to VOTIRO to CDR and returns to the user. Okay, so right now, we know that there's no technologies out there that can break open a password protected file, right? So when somebody sends a password protected zip file over to your user, typically it bypasses your gateway defenses, and you have to rely on your endpoint defenses to detect if the file is malicious or not, right? But for VOTIRO, we have the capability to stop it at the gateway level. Okay, so let me explain the flow of how a user experience will be like receiving a password protected email. Okay, so the first email that you see that the recipient received is supposed to be a password protected zip file, but it got renamed to blocked.pdf. Okay, so as a user, when I open this block.pdf, it prompts me that this file is protected by a password. So as a user, what I need to do is I will need to click I have a password, right? So what happens is after clicking this I have a password, it brings you to our VOTIRO portal, okay, where you cannot do anything but to key in the file password. Okay, so the user, as in the recipient of this email, will need to key the file password, followed by the next button, which is send file by email. Okay, so this is the next message that you will see on the browser, right? That the sanitize file has been released to your email. And usually within a few seconds, you'll receive a second email, okay, containing the original file, aws.zip, which is password protected, but the contents inside would have already been sanitized by VOTIRO. Okay, so when I use the word sanitize, I will mean CDR, to be clean. So in the event that if, let's say, this sender will try to send anything that is malicious or not allowed by the policy, for example, sending an exe file together with a binary file and along with a Word document, right? So what VOTIRO can do is inside this zip file, we are able to block those file types that you define on the policy to block and only allow the Word document to be sent across to the recipient. Okay, so for VOTIRO, it doesn't matter how much or how you try to hide files or embed files inside the Word document and then protect it by a password protected zip. You are able to tear open the files recursively to remove any hidden threads. Okay, so the next use case we have is for file uploads, and this is one of the use case for one of our customers in Singapore, right? When they have a web portal for members of public to upload their documents, right? So this is obviously a major risk factor because you don't know the file that the public uploads. Is it a clean file, dirty file? Is it a 0-day file? There's no way to tell unless you have VOTIRO in place for us to do a CDR on the file to ensure that the output of the file is always clean. All right. So in this use case, the application, upon receiving the file from the public, will make a REST API call over to VOTIRO to do the CDR, and upon completion, we will then throw back to the application to store it in your internal database or server. Okay. So another use case that we have is we have a direct integration with the S3 bucket. So if any of your customers are using S3 bucket to store files, okay, potentially what we can do with VOTIRO is we can connect to your customer's S3 bucket to pull in files that are being stored, sanitize it before replacing it with a clean version in the bucket. So the next time when a user logs into the S3 bucket, downloads the file, they will know that it already has been sanitized based on the S3 tagging. Okay, so for this integration, it is direct, so there's no middleware or software required in the middle. It's directly from the S3 to VOTIRO Cloud. Okay, so the next use case we have is for file transfer or managed file transfer, that is MFT for short. So understand for certain use cases, everything may not be on the cloud, and some customers would have their database or servers on-prem. So what happens is we have this VOTIRO file connector that can be installed on the Windows server that monitors two folders, right? So there's an in folder where we are expecting files from external party to be dropped inside here. So it could be from a file portal, a web external application, or a managed file transfer to put in any external files into the in folder. So what happens is that the file connector, when they see this file getting dropped in the in folder, it will make a REST API call to VOTIRO Cloud to perform the CDR. And of course, a clean copy would be on a different folder. We call it the out folder, right? So from the out folder, you can then connect to your internal database or server for your users to interact, to retrieve the files. Okay. So just an overview, this is a very simple screenshot of how the file connector looks like. It runs as a Windows service, monitoring two folders. And for the folders, it doesn't have to be local folders, but it can also connect via CIFS, SMB, or FTP, as well as FTPS. Okay, so last but not least, we also have the closest, as you know that VOTIRO, we always work on the gateway level. So we don't have any agents or anything to be installed on the endpoints. But the closest thing we have is a web browser plugin, right? So basically, we support Chrome and Edge browser, okay, for users to install VOTIRO as a plugin. So what happens is when you surf the internet, and as you right-click, save as a file, or you download a PDF, Excel, Word document, doesn't matter, from the internet, what the plugin does is that whenever you download, it intercepts the download, throws the file to VOTIRO Cloud to CDR, and once it's done, we will get the file delivered to the user's downloads folder. Okay, so this is actually a real-time protection against file-borne threats over web browser downloads. Okay, and potentially we can also prevent drive-by downloads from certain websites that can be malicious. Okay, so the plugin is a very good thing because it helps to intercept your file downloads, which means that the file that is not yet sanitized by VOTIRO will never land on the user desktop. Okay, and most importantly, for the browser plugin, we also support the workflow for password protected files. Meaning to say, if I were to download this this zip file called uat123.zip and it's password protected, so instead of getting the zip file, I will get a block PDF. So remember the process earlier on for the email, exactly the same steps. As a user, I will need to go open the PDF, click I have a password, key the password, VOTIRO takes in the password, sanitize the file before we release the file to the user. Okay, so this is also very important because most of the time, if you download a password protected file over the internet, there is no way that your gateway devices like a firewall, IPS will be able to detect anything that's malicious or hidden inside the password protected file. Right, so lastly, we have RBI use case. So RBI stands for Remote Browser Isolation. So for customers that are already using RBI solutions such as Manual Security or Zscaler, they help you to protect against malicious websites, which is very good. okay? But having an RBI solution when downloading file, what they can do is only to offer an antivirus scan on those files to detect any known threats, right? So that's where our value of VOTIRO comes in when we integrate with people like Menlo Security as well as Zscaler, is that whenever the file download is triggered, right, the file gets sent over to VOTIRO to CDR, remove any known unknown threats, rebuild into a new file before it lands on the user's desktop or downloads folder. Okay, so that is the reason why it's important to have VOTIRO for IBI, because it provides an end-to-end protection for web browsing as well as for file downloads over the internet. Okay, so moving on, I guess by now, this is the same slide that Lawrence presented earlier, but just want to add a bit of more context on what we do. Our patented technology called positive selection technology, right? So first thing first, whenever a file comes into VOTIRO, number one, we will not check just the extension, but inspect the entire file to determine that it is indeed a Word document, all right? So we don't just rely on the file extension or the file header, but we inspect the entire document, all right, to make sure that it is the true file type. Like if it's a Word document, the top to bottom of the document must resemble a structure of a Word document. Okay, so next step is basically, you can think of it as like we are tearing apart the file into two buckets. Number one is the known safe buckets, or your content.xml, the one on top. So those are your text, your fonts, your highlights, track changes, whatever. All these belongs to your content. Anything that can be hidden, that can hide bad stuff, will get left behind. And what happens next is we'll call a brand new Word document template next. All right. So with this brand new Word document template, we'll copy the content, text layout, everything, the known good contents, and paste it over to the new document template. Right. So when this is done, you'll receive a 100% save file in the source format without impacting the file structure or file fidelity. Okay, so this process may look very long, but in reality, it merely takes just seconds to complete, right? So of course, depends on the file size. Bigger files will take a bit more time, like 5 to 10 seconds. But typically for a single 1 meg Word document, we will take just 1 to 2 seconds to complete this entire positive selection process. Okay, so moving on to demo, I will explain to you what kind of demo I will do first before I actually do it, so that you guys would know, we have an idea of what I'm trying to do on my demo screen next. Okay, so the first part of the demo is also as what Lawrence showed earlier, steganography, right? So I hope most of you know what do you mean by steganography. It is a way to conceal information within an object to avoid detection. So in this case, on my demo, I will show you how easy it is to take a JPEG file, an image file, okay, and hide your code inside. Hide any kind of code. It can be code, it can be hidden data, it can be secret data, whatever, right? So this kind of data, when it's hidden inside image documents, typically your gateway security devices, again, will not be able to detect to such level, because at the best they can do is to measure against this file, does it have a malicious hash or something like that. But other than that, it will not be able to tell if there's any hidden messages or code behind an image file. And this is what I'm going to show you how CDR, like VOTIRO, can address this kind of threats. Okay, so for the second part of the demo, I will also show you how we can address CVEs that are detected in Office documents. Okay, so in this example, we have February 2023 Patch Tuesday, which Microsoft fixed a vulnerability in Microsoft Word track as CVE 2023-21716. Okay, so this is actually a RTF file that is being compromised to cause your endpoint to have a buffer overflow when you interact with the file. Okay, so of course, when it causes your endpoint to have such issues, they are able to take over a laptop and compromise it as much as they want. All right. So first thing first is you need to understand that even as Microsoft, such a big company, it's a listed company, $400 over share price, but the way they address patch is on a regular basis, which means that you can have a CVE detected today, and it can be the 0 day potentially. All right. But Microsoft typically will take about 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or maybe 2 months to release a patch to cover this CVE. They don't release like 1 to 2 days later. Even for high critical vulnerabilities such as this one, a CVS score out of 9.8 out of 10. Okay, and what is important thing to note about this RTF file is that you don't even need to open the file to be infected, which means that the victim, if it sends this file over to your email and over at your Outlook, if you preview this RTF document, you are already compromised. Okay, so this is how critical it is to address such CVE documents, and I'll show you again in a later part of the demo on how we can mitigate such threats. Okay, so the third and also the last part of my demo, I will show you also what are the hidden dangers that can possess in a PDF file, right? So this is called polyglot. So polyglot means that it is both, this file is a PDF file, right? But if I rename it as a zip file, you can actually hide exe file or binary files inside the same file, and it opens just like a zip file. Okay, so it's like a two-in-one file. It can be a PDF, can be a zip file at the same time. Okay, so this is kind of a steganographic file that can be interpreted as 2 or more types. And also, if this were a 0-day threat, which means that let's say I craft this specially, hide the exe file that I just bought from dark web, they just crafted specially for me. Right now, your antivirus signature will not be able to detect. If you have sandbox, it depends whether how the malware is created. Some malwares right now, you can Google, anti-sandbox evasion is very common. It's very easy to evade sandbox detection, right? So with your antivirus in place, with your sandbox in place, you may not be able to detect such threats coming into your environment. Okay, so with that, let me stop sharing for now and share with you my demo environment. Okay, so first part of the demo is the steganography. So what I'm going to show you now is the screenshot that I took from Bulwark website. As you can see here, where's the offices located and what's the contact information. All right. So a file like this, when you open using an image viewer such as Microsoft Paint or image viewing software, you can view the file as it's supposed to be, right? So how do you see the ones and zero behind? You need to use a hexadecimal viewer to see what are the things that's hidden behind this picture. Okay, so with a hexadecimal viewer, then you can only see what are the data or any codes that are hiding behind this picture that can be potentially bypass your current security devices. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to weaponize this file. And what happens is that in the hexadecimal viewer, you can see that I've actually injected this shell code over here. Okay, and also a message saying John Ocher. So John is our VP for VOTIRO, right? So this kind of message and shell code will not be able to detect by traditional security measures. And what happens when I try to send over to VOTIRO Cloud, right? So as you can see, I have a file connector set up just like what I've shown in the earlier diagram, the in and out. So once I put into the file through in, you can see that within a few seconds, it lands on the out folder. Okay, so first thing first, when I have the file sanitized by VOTIRO, I would like to check if there's anything that happened to my file, right? So as you can see, the images, the maps, the phone numbers, email addresses are still the same. Okay, by sending files to VOTIRO to sanitize, we do not change or modify your data. Okay. And what happens if you were to do a comparison between the sanitized file as well as the original compromised file? Okay, so this is a side-by-side comparison. As you can see from the left side, this was the original code that I injected. On the right side, you can see that it is being scrubbed away, right? So this is also proof that we are not doing any kind of detection capability for any keywords or hidden things inside the photo. Why? So if I go down to the bottom, you can see that at the bottom part over here, where there is no code or no messages, anything, we are still scrubbing this part of the data inside this JPEG file. Okay, so again, to prove to you that we do it not just the top part, but all the way, I will go to the end of the file and you can compare for yourself between the original file as well as the sanitized file from VOTIRO. You can see the characters, the offset, everything was actually scrambled, right? So when we say we sanitize file, it's not just the front part or the header part, but it's the entire file that we do it. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So second part of the file is the RTF file. So just now what I did is I went over to VirusTotal, uploaded this text.rtf, right? So even though that you can see that it is a malicious file detected by half of the AV engines out there, and you can see that so even AV is not very reliable, all right? Because if it's malicious, it's supposed to be detected 100% on all antivirus engines. But even this file on VirusTotal is 32 out of 65 detects as malicious, right? So what happens if I take this file over, throw it to VOTIRO to process, and the out file. Right, so the out file, the first thing first, if I try to double click and open the file, you can see that nothing happens. It didn't crash my VM. It didn't do anything. Okay, so next thing I want to show you is, wait, on the out folder, the same file, I will be uploading to VirusTotal to show you that when we say we remove threads, it is 100% clean file. Okay, and the VirusTotal will be exactly the best place to show you that after sending through VOTIRO, the file will be completely clean from any kind of malicious code or malicious activity that was there before that. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward. And the last part is I want to show you is the polyglot PDF. So this one acts as a PDF. So using a PDF reader, you can see that I can open the file normally. Doesn't do anything to my endpoint. Okay, except to prompt me this update. Right? If I rename this to a zip, so you can see that what happens is I can actually hide files or hide binary files inside here. And when I open the PDF, I would unknowingly execute these files at the same time. Okay. And again, so for files like this, polyglot.pdf, if I were to take this file to upload to VirusTotal, you can see that even fewer antivirus vendors out there, detect this as malicious. Okay, only 6 out of 50 over AV engines, and this is just a PDF file, all right? It's nothing special, nothing proprietary. Only 6 AV vendors detected as malicious, while the rest 40 over are undetected, right? So this poses a very huge gap, even if you have multiple brands of AV in your environment. Again, I'm going to do the same thing, throw into the init folder, which sends this file over to VOTIRO, which I will show you the interface later, okay, after the demo to brief you on how we see the what happens to the file. Okay, so again, you can see within a few seconds, it lands on the out folder. So first thing first, again, when I see this file, I want to open and double click to make sure that I can still open this as a PDF, as a normal PDF file. All right. So yes, I can do it. So what happens now if I try to rename as a zip and open this? You can see this message here. This is an invalid file, right? So what happens is when we detect this file as a PDF based on the true file type, okay, after we reconstruct this file, we will still reconstruct as a valid PDF file. So whatever that's hidden inside, the zip file, the exe file, whatever inside, will all get left behind. Okay, so this is kind of like a proactive approach to files, and that is why that's why we call ourselves zero trust. Okay. Okay, so moving on to the dashboard, this is an overview of what you can see on our VOTIRO UI, right? How many files we process, what's our average sanitization time, what's the actions that are taken for every file. Okay, over at the events page, right? So this is what you can see, the 3 files that are sent over just now during this session, the JPEG file, RTF file, as well as the PDF, right? So for the JPEG file, when you see more events, we will record down things like your file name, file type, file size, file hash, etc. And also we'll record a list of the data processing logs, which means what we do to the file, which then can be sent to your SIEM, your SIM, for correlation or for further incident response analysis, right? So for every file that comes into VOTIRO, we will always have a full set of data processing logs, like what we do to the file, and all this information can be piped to your SIEM or SIM server. Okay, so also just to give you a little bit of context, you can see this here. This is the file that I uploaded earlier. It's an Excel file, calendar with stickers. Okay, this one took slightly longer, about 6.6 seconds. Why? Because when we tear open this file, you can see that it contains a number of 20 over 30 over XML files, as well as PNG files. And inside each and individual object, you can see the data processing logs on the right side. We are making micro changes as well as detecting true file type. So this means if I try to embed something that is not allowed, for example, this is a binary file or a file that cannot be CDR or is unknown to VOTIRO, what we do is we are able to catch this file and block it according to your policy. Okay, so this is the type of granularity that we offer as VOTIRO because we're the file experts and we are able to really drill down into every single file within an Excel document to determine if there are any hidden threats inside this file before we repackage the file into a proper Excel file and returning to the user. All right, so with this, I have come to the end of my demo. We have a couple of minutes left, so probably hand over to Sonali for the questions.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for your insightful presentation. So, team, I would once again like to, emphasize the fact that please address your questions here in the chat panel to all the panelists. Okay, so once you address it, we would have that, addressed here by our, speakers from VOTIRO.
After the webinar itself, we will send out the deck. Okay, but if you have any question, do free to send it to any of us or to send to Bulwark. Okay, anytime they have. Okay, if you want to see a more in-depth demo of more further discussion, you can also send in request and we can arrange a separate session with you or and your team. Okay, to share our technology and in-depth demo.
All right, so since we don't have any questions right now also, a huge note of thanks to all our esteemed, speakers from VOTIRO who have taken the time off to, conduct and help us, run the webinar seamlessly. Also to all our attendees who have spent some time to hear the webinar too as well. Would request you all to please kindly be in touch with us. We have the contact details or so, or with our team here at VOTIRO who would be handling. Sohrav is there and the full team here is there to address your requirements. We will be sending you a mail tomorrow, to just thank you with regards to your presence. And we would also be sending you a feedback evaluation survey in the mail. So would request you to please kindly take some time off and just address that as well, so though that we are able to understand your requirements and that would also enable us to follow up with regards to your requirements. So with that, I would like to, come to an end. And once again, a huge note of thanks to our speakers from VOTIRO and to the entire team here at Bulwark who have supported me in organizing this. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.